Hey, I'm Noah.
Hey, I'm Tim.
And this is our ongoing comic strip AP of Dogs in the Vineyard.
Okay, so I'm in the GM's seat, which means Noah. Who are you playing?
Terrence Witt.
Terrence Witt. Oh my goodness. Okay, you were just outside of Eden before,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
All right, with your posse.
Yeah, and Franklin.
And Franklin. Okay. So things are coming to a head.
Definitely.
And there was kind of a plan forming, right, of like all the little steps of how you're going to enter the town and what Franklin's going on. But, you know, we're probably not going to focus on that minutia, right?
Right.
Dogs are competent. I mean, it's kind of stated as such in the text that they can do things, and you really you say yes or roll the die, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think we can gloss over some of the more cinematic action. Terrence is pretty capable, right?
Yeah, I think we've seen that. And so we'll just play it till we hit stakes, basically. Or we're about to hit stakes, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens.
Let's do it. The day after Franklin found our camp was the first day that really felt like fall. Suddenly, summer was over. That morning, we left our coats and went into town as ordinary citizens. We saw how they operated, how there was drinking in town, how the church was empty and discarded, how it felt like a town, well, probably how it feels back east. This isn't our Eden anymore. I knew Franklin was going to stir up some big trouble, and, well, knowing his affinity for the explosives, I imagined something big was going to happen that night. Well, I didn't think it was going to be as big as it was. When Franklin blew up the prison wall, as I suspected, it brought all the territorial authority to one place, and, well, me and my dogs were ready. We had our guns and our cloaks, and we arrested them all on sight. I had to let Franklin go and his men, but that's a problem for another day. Right now, I've got a city that's partially on fire. I've got 10 dogs watching 20 territorial authority, and I got a prison that ain't got no wall. My name's Terrence Witt, and I'm a dog.
So the plaza that you're in is feels empty just because there's not the crowd, the hordes of people of Eden. Everyone's certainly heard what went down, but instead you see lit windows and, you know, open window panes with faces and shadows eagerly peering out. It's oddly quiet now that the territorial authority and sheriff, Vergil, have all been arrested. Looking around, the circle of them have kind of been lined up along the perimeter of that plaza. Althea is doing a mighty good job of keeping the other dogs in check, making sure that they're tying up those wrists. Not too tight, but tight enough, you know? Mm-hmm. Wiley has his book of life out, and he is basically reading them their sins that they have committed. He has his own book of the law that he is reading off to the proposed lawmakers and law followers about their dens of fornication and other sins committed. And then in the distance, that part of town where the explosion went off, you can still smell the gunpowder in the air. There's the clanking sound of metal bars falling in, some mortar crumbling, a 2x4 finally clattering to the ground, and the glow of a small fire. You know, surely it was an explosion, right?
Yeah.
And then hooting and hollering. I mean, can't tell how many. Franklin didn't mention how big his Crescent Moon Gang contingency is, but sounds like a good 10 or so of them. But they seem to be riding away. Those sounds seem to be getting further. The hooting and hollering and breaking a glass and yipping. It sounds like they're probably looting a bit on the way out of town. But let's turn to Vergil. You've met Vergil before.
Yes.
It's like on the edge of Eden. Like he kind of welcomed you in before you...
But we kind of had bad blood, as I recall.
Yeah. I think that was because... you left with your brother that he wanted to imprison.
Right. That's right. But he's also, who my father sent me out to take care of a little bit.
Right. It doesn't matter what direction you turn. You feel like those steely blue eyes of now Sheriff Vergil are watching you. He's standing proud for a man with his arms tied. He's wearing stiff woolen trousers and nicely tooled leather boots, button-up red plaid flannel tucked in, and a nice big hat. And underneath those bushy white eyebrows, those cold eyes, they don't look too happy with what you've done here.
I think I have my rifle out. I'm not on my horse, though. And mainly I'm watching my dogs.
Right.
For once, I don't mind what Wiley's doing.
Right.
His proselytizing is working to my favor because it's drawing attention.
Oh, yeah, people can hear that.
Yeah, and the crowds, people watching from windows are watching him. Mm-hmm. And so the focus isn't really on me. And it gives me the opportunity to make sure everything's going okay.
Yeah, cool. So Wiley finally gets to Vergil. And, Vergil has hands-free. Probably would have snatched that book, right out.
Yeah, I think he's tied.
But he lurches forward at Wiley just enough to kind of be intimidating. And you see Wiley, color drain from his face. But he talks over Wiley's shoulder to you. Son, religion is for the weekends, but not how you run a city. Leave people to their church and leave the lawmakers to run the city. Now, boy, why would you try to ruin a good thing?
Sheriff, I believe that's the title you've given yourself. Well, I just find it peculiar. I think you must be from back east. I don't think you were born out here.
I've acclimated is what? Oh, the heat and the soil out here makes you hard, but shouldn't make you dumb. And you should realize that times are changing.
Because if you were from out here, out west, you know that our religion is not just for the weekends. It's for all the time. It's why we came out here. It's why we left your east and your laws. I think there's like a cup or bottle of probably some sort of, beer or something.
Right.
I kick it over. We left all that behind. You're out here in my west. And out of my west, we do religion all the time. Not just weekends.
From far away, you wouldn't be able to tell which window this came from, but you hear a, Amen. You may be surprised to know that I still consider myself one of the faithful. I have that book of life in my back pocket, too. But like I said, when times change, smart people change with them. And let me ask you this. What will you do when more of the authority arrive from east? Oh, there's 10, 20 here today, but when there's 50, 100, 1,000? Now, son, the east is booming and they got somewhere to go. What will you do?
And I kind of look off. He's got a good point. He's not wrong. But I finally look back at him and I say, well, that seems like a problem for another day.
Well then, boy, be ready for what's coming, because these bureaucrats, well, they won't come with guns to fight a war, no. They'll win their war with the stroke of a pen. They plan to divide up this area into perfect little statehoods, and, well, the way I understand it right now, some of them are even approaching elders in our very own Bridal Falls about having a role in. And you hear a gunshot. But it's back from where the jail area is. You hear it from behind you. And the voice you hear after that is Franklin's, and it's kind of faint. You'd have to turn away your direction. But it sounds like he's addressing someone and kind of scared.
Well, I think I go over there, actually. I think I tell Althea, watch him close, pointing, right at Vergil, the sheriff.
When Althea walks over to Vergil, He starts up that authoritative fatherly tone again. Now, daughter,
Over my shoulder, as I'm walking away, I say, Althea, he mouths off to you, you just hit him.
And she backhand slaps him across the face and plucks this shiny tin star off of his shirt and just tosses it.
Yeah.
So let's follow you over to, I think this is the blown out corner of the jail, you know, where the wreckage is still smoldering. Franklin is sitting on the ground with his back up against that shattered wall, hands steadying himself on the ground. He doesn't look hurt, but he looks scared. And pointed right at him is a revolver held by, of course, Sister Clementine. She has Franklin in his sights, and it sounds like that conversation's about to come to an end.
Sure.
What do you do?
I say, killing that man right there won't bring your brother back. And I sure as hell don't need a dog killing people on all nights tonight. How about you lower that gun, Clementine?
Her eyes narrow. And out of the corner of them, you see her glance at you. It's a flicker of a glance.
So what's at stake is, will I save Franklin?
She talks to you without looking at you. She says, "Don't you talk about my brother. Hell, this won't bring him back, but it'll bring back a sense of what's right, of what's good, of a spiritual justice. He's just a common bandit. Who knows how many of his gang they killed tonight? What's he to you, dog?"
He's my brother. And if you shoot my brother out of some sense of spiritual justice or revenge or pity or whatever the hell you're feeling, well, you're not going to walk away from this.
I was there for my brother, and he was a dog. He was a good man. Stand up for the likes of a bandit? I don't see your cause. Why protect the Crescent Moon gang, blood or not? Now, Brother Terrence, think of the greater good here. Cut off the head of this snake of the Crescent Moon gang, and all those problems go away.
After all you've seen, after all you've been through, you still have this sense that there is good and there is bad. There's no good or bad. There's what people can take and what they can't. And right now, right here, you can't take this. And I see her trembling a little bit. And I've still got my rifle in my hand from earlier. I just walked over here with it. I don't raise it at her, but I raise it a little bit.
So she drops her gun and she's full on bawling at that, you know, and she falls to both of her knees, and it's just a loud, retching cry, you know?
Yeah.
Like something she's held in for a while. Franklin looks up at you, and you see tears in his eyes, too, and he's looking at you with a lot of admiration right now.
I think I look at him, and I don't say anything, but my eyes dart to one side, and I kind of just almost imperceptibly motion him with my gun to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. So Franklin, he stands up, he brushes the dust off of his pants, you know, makes a bit of a flourish of that. And he says, "Well, that was a mighty nice speech there. And, little lady, don't like how you wrangled all those sentiments out of him, but, you know, it was worth it for the theatrics there. So brother, Eden."
No, I don't want to hear another word from you. You get out or I'll shoot you. You're not welcome in Eden anymore. This is dog territory once again.
But, brother,
And I raise my gun.
And he's hands up, taking steps back. But brother, I was about to say that
And I cock my gun.
thought I found home. And he turns off.
Hi, this is Jason from The Gauntlet. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have many other Comic Strip AP shows available, each organized in their own sequential playlist for easy listening. Just go to youtube.com and search for Gauntlet RPG.
I mean, what do you do with people? You arrest them, but we blew up the jail.
I didn't think about that.